Dr. Sachs, thank you so much for your presence here today and for communicating your sense of urgency to all of us here. I would like to ask you to please talk about the urgency of the United States removing its missiles recently placed in Romania and Poland.
What we need, thank you very much. What President Putin has been saying for actually 20 years now, 21 years, is that the US and Russia need, honestly, to find a security arrangement, because it was 21 years ago that the US unilaterally pulled out of the anti-ballistic missile treaty, the ABM treaty. More recently, the US pulled out of the INF treaty. And we also have entered a new phase of, quote, modernization of our nuclear arsenal. And we don't talk to Russia about these things. And the specifics about NATO enlargement were very specific about missile placements, about the timing of missiles to reach Russia, about the risks of being on each other's borders with the missiles that would reach Russia in minutes, and all of the risks of being on a razor's edge that this would cause. And yet, our answer has been none of your business. We don't need to talk to you about this. And this is where these challenges lie. I am not an expert specifically on all of the missile placements or the weapon systems, but I know that we are not engaging in arms control and diplomacy, to say the least. And what I do know also, everyone on the call knows it well, but if you're interested in lots of fascinating, detailed documents, go to the National Security Archives of George Washington University to see that this NATO enlargement has been in violation of promises that the United States made from the very start to Gorbachev, and then over the strong objections of Russian leaders way before Putin came to power. And by the way, I also know very well that Putin was not an enemy, and he was not anti-European, and he was not anti-American. This is the idea that, this is an implacable foe, is historically wrong. We have never been willing to discuss the issues that Russian leaders have said are absolutely of vital concern to their national security. This is our problem. It's arrogance. And incidentally, I went back to read a book that I only vaguely remembered from my junior high school years. I think they were the book by J. William Fulbright, who in the 1960s was the chairman of the Senate Foreign Relations Committee and a brilliant man. And he wrote a book, I think it's 1966, called The Arrogance of Power. And it was during the Vietnam period. The title always remained with me, but it was only a couple of weeks ago that, after many decades, I went back to read it as a grown-up. And it's an astoundingly good book. And again, shocking how relevant it is more than a half century later.